What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more punk rock. And we're back for the first time in several months with Bombs Over Providence and their only album, Shake Your Body Politic, which is from 2005. We're up to the penultimate tune. Thank you again to Chris, not only for the album, but the patience as I've gone through. And the next track is Dig Them Up and Try to Reason with Them. Am I remembering that correctly? Yes, dig them up and try to reason with them. So digging someone up suggests someone who has been buried. And in that regard, it sounds like trying to bring people back alive who have already been killed. And trying to reason with someone who has already been killed seems like a futile effort, or on another way of looking at it, a simple and brief endeavor, which is to say you can't really have an engagement conversationally with someone who has died. So it's another title where I don't quite know how to take it. The titles for this album have been absolutely insane and as amusing as any I've seen anywhere, even in the world of punk rock, where you do tend to get some funny titles. But yeah, there's a implicit darkness to it. It sounds like we are talking about those who are dead, and of course people can die for natural reasons, but a lot of punk rock songs that do speak about death that is unnecessary, avoidable, brutal, or otherwise nefarious. So I do wonder what might be on the cards here. I do remember Chris provided the lyrics, so after I'll listen and think about what I heard, I'll try to go look. And as we do the outro, I'll read the lyrics. But yes, it's an interesting title. Let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Bombs Over Providence. The track is Dig Them Up and Try to Reason with Them.
Wealth is an aphrodisiac. Seeing the pretty girls hanging at the mall. And loath though we be to admit they're right, we're shivering as each slim penny falls. They're voting with their wallets and coming up short. They're voting with their fists and every face looks like a ballot box. They never believed in electoral politics anyway. Their dirty mouths on dirtier minds in the dirtiest fight you always feared to find yourself on the losing end of. Here's a fist in the air and a gentleman's send-off. They're foreign change in dollars and cents. A constructive assault.
That's it? Wow. Okay, so the first part sounds like it's at a show, and it sounds like he's almost doing lyrics, but in spoken word poetry slam style, but that most of the crowd is not paying attention and they're, carrying on their own conversations, almost like, it's between songs when someone from the band is like retuning a guitar or, they're setting up part of the stage. So that itself was interesting in that the lines I caught in me was like something like, well, that's an aphrodisiac, and looking at the pretty girls and they're walking around the mall, but their faces suggest they're not into electoral politics or something like that. And then what was it, like a fist in the air, which is a sign of resistance depending, in what context you're saying that or how you hold the fist and so on. But then it was like a gentleman's fist in the air or something like that. So it sounds like there's maybe some like sex or gender-based point being made, and then it launches into the proper song, and then it sounds like there was a line about, the parents are being killed, and have you heard about the violence on our streets? Some of that's true, and then talking about something in a mall. So yeah, there's snippets that I caught from the song part of the track that suggest we are talking about some sort of local violence in a small town, or at least in a local community, and maybe some of that has been exaggerated or sensationalized, but some of it is based in fact. But yes, I will say, I will comment again, their sonic stylings, it really reminds me of like an earlier Propaganda meets a bit of Anti-Flag, because it has the, shouted vocals and one vocalist overlapping another, the way you hear in a lot of Anti-Flag songs, and then just something about the guitar work. It reminds me of maybe like less talk, more rock era Propaganda. So yeah, let me see what the lyrics have to say explicitly, and we will see if it lists the... Okay, wait, what? We'll see if it lists that spoken word part as well. Okay. So... Okay, dig them up and try to reason with them. Throw in, got mine for the party line. It seems that everything... Okay, so it just goes straight to the song part. Throw in, got mine for the party line. It seems that everything we do is part of a grander scheme. We're still killing parents. Did you hear about the beatdown on the streets of Old Town? Some of that was true, but I swear we're learning more. We're gonna fire when ready. I got the shovels in right hands. I got guts and I got fuel. Break ground, push down, dig deep and throw. Split wood, lift hood, inhale and hold. I got lamps and I got spikes. I recite just what I'm told. I mean, honestly, it's... Again, the killing parents, beat down on the streets. It sounds, again, like it's maybe... local crimes that are then interpreted by national or politically charged media to carry on some narrative. But yeah, some of that was true. I swear we're learning more. We're gonna fire when ready. I got shovels in right hands. I got guts and I got fuel. Break down, push down, dig deep and throw. Split wood, lift hood, inhale and hold. I got lamps and I got spikes. I recite just what I'm told. Fascinating. I honestly, I'm not sure how to take that on this first reading. Definitely have to ponder it. And I think, given that there's not all that many words on the page for this one, I'm not quite sure if there is any definitive definition. So, or at least, from the outside looking in, I'm sure one of the songwriters or band members could give a specific indication of what that's all about. But yeah, it's like imagery and phrases and the implication of maybe some broader narrative, but certainly not enough for me to piece together and to stitch into a coherent story. So yeah, again, I like their sound a lot. I think it's fantastic. We have one more tune to go, and shout out to Chris. He mentioned at the very end of the next tune, or the last tune on the CD, there's like a bonus track. Like those old things on CDs where there'd be like 2 or 3 minutes of silence, and then there's some like 30-second or 2-minute or whatever bit. In some cases, like a full song that suddenly starts at the end. But he said it's like a recording from like some weird pornography film or whatever, so we'll leave that out. Once the normal song ends, I'll stop it. But yes, one more tune to go on the album. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you again to Chris for sharing and for the patience, as it's taken me like a year plus to go through this, so I do appreciate that. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.